Welcome back, friends, to 1111 for another surprise Sunday special guest. Today, our guest is someone who is sweet, smart, lighthearted, and her career runs the gamut from the analytical to the intuitional. I'm not going to say too much before we dive in. So, surprise mystery guest, will you please tell us who you are and what you do?
Thank you so much, Joy. My name is DORA Goldenone. And my mission is to help women align with their highest self in order to achieve full spectrum abundance in this lifetime, in any area of their lives, financial, relationships, health, and also time freedom. It's all possible.
What you do does really cover that entire spectrum. It isn't just one specific thing. It's if they do the stuff that you teach them, it will benefit them in every area of their life, which to me is a win-win-win. So with that in mind, will you please tell us how you got into your line of work?
So I was at one time a financial planner and independent broker. My main focus was to help clients really achieve their deep down dreams, not just the superficial wants. And often people didn't even want to discuss what their real dreams were. So I wanted them to have a beautiful life that they really, truly wanted. And later on, I realized that instead of using my intuition to find what their dreams are, I could teach them how I was getting my answers from the universe. Because many people don't believe that they can do this, including me at one time. I didn't believe that I could get my answers. I believed others could do it, but not me.
That's a huge leap to go from finance to the world of things of the spirit. What was that journey like for you?
Well, actually, it wasn't that big a difference for me because when I was a financial planner, I was in the spiritual life. And many of my clients were in different religions or spiritual life. So it wasn't a big leap as it sounds. Yes, to get into the finances, I once worked in a bank, blah, blah, blah. But eventually I was in the spiritual life and I was using my intuition to help people to get what they want.
I bet they sure appreciated your doing that because that's a very different approach than most financial advisors.
Yes, I had people come to me because their financial advisors would say, no, you can't do this until you retire. And when I found out what they really want to do, I figured out a way how they could do it so that they can have their dreams now. Not wait till they retire. They might not even be here, for God's sakes.
I know that your work is very rewarding in a number of ways, but is there one certain way that for you is the most rewarding aspect of your work?
Oh my gosh, yes, 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 and yes. There's two things. People don't believe that they could get their own answers. And when I do that with them live, we're in a group setting, I do that live, and they get their answers, their faces light up, they're surprised, they're in shock. And what's really great about this is they'll do it with me. I'll show them how to do it. They'll practice it at home. And they will never forget that they can now contact their higher self anytime they want to get the perfect answers that are helpful for them at that time. And there's another thing too. Also, what I love about this is to see the people manifesting, people that were getting better in the health. And I'm only in 5 weeks, so we learn a lot about manifestation. It could be an instant miracle, like what happened to me, or it could take a little time, but it's really beautiful to see how people actually are aligned with their manifestation project. They start on the process, and I guide them towards different areas that they would need to know so that they can manifest. So I'm really excited about that.
Personally, how did you get into the spiritual or manifesting stuff? Was it at a young age? Were you raised with it? How did it come into your life?
No. How did it come into my life? That's a really great question. Actually, because I was hit by a 2x4, most people don't work on their stuff on themselves, which is the hardest job in the world, till they get hit by a 2x4. And sometimes it's a truck. So I was hit by the truck, and I had to decide, do I want to spend my life in bed at 30, or do I want to work to relieve all the emotions that were coming up? And start working on that. And I did a lot of personal development, a lot of the old time manifestation gurus and all the old time books. And I just kept learning about more and more manifestation. And I found out that it was true. Do you know that a Ford car said that if you believe you can't or you believe you can, you are right.
Exactly. Yep. Henry Ford. Exactly. Was the book you were thinking of Think and Grow Rich? By
Yes,
any chance?
thank you. Think and
Oh,
Grow Rich.
yeah. Napoleon Hill. What about your work has surprised you the most?
It's how much people don't really realize that they can manifest. You know, it's 100 years ago that quantum physics has proved how the energy of the universe works, that everything is energy, and that we can manifest. And it's proven. I go over a bit of that very simply in the course so that I could tell people how the energy of the universe works. So they don't need to be in the old belief system of the facts on the table, you know.
What's a common misconception about what you do?
Well, people don't just need coaching, you know. They need a way to get out of their circumstances that they're in now and not repeat it again. So I teach the steps that they need to lead to manifestation of their most pressing dreams and priorities. So I would say that would be the most common. Not just a coach, you need somebody that concretely helps you align with your higher self and walk the path to attain your goals.
I really like that because then if you're relying on a coach, what happens when the coach is not there? You can't function. And so you're teaching people to do it with or without you so they can take control of their own life. That's a huge difference. Oh, I love that.
I'm teaching them how to fish.
That's perfect. So far, what would you say at this point is the biggest challenge as an entrepreneur, especially going from the world of finance to inner work?
Well, I think it was going from finance to the spiritual life. That's what happened. You know, when I had to change, I had to look at my emotions and why was I stuck? And it led me to the spiritual life. And it led me to attracting clients that were in the spiritual life themselves of all different types, you know. I was already aligned in showing them how to get their goals at the same time as getting my own goals.
And are there any challenges you face as an entrepreneur in the online space?
Oh my gosh, yes. First of all, the technology is quite something.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a learning curve that goes straight up. And but I really had this mission to produce something that would really help people because it took me so long to be helped in that situation. So the technology was terrible. Over a big curve.
Is there any technology that is making your work easier? Would that be Zoom or something like that?
Yes, but I think it's just learning about the technology. You know, I wasn't in this field before. I was coaching one-to-one, and I wasn't used to any technology or even just to use the internet at the time. It was years ago that I did that, you know. So at that time, we weren't doing too much emails either.
I think most of the people I've talked to who have an online business agree that it's the technology that's the biggest challenge for them. And it doesn't even matter if they're tech whizzes. There's always a new kind of technology to learn that we don't normally use, but maybe our customers do. Have you noticed if there have been any shifts in your industry over the years?
I think more and more people want to help those in need. So there's more and more coaches and program creators, and they're working out of a mission, which I think is beautiful. It is their soul-driven missions. And what's neat is that everyone is so different, has different information and different backgrounds. And when someone is feeling good about someone that's a coach, that's their person. Go for it. You know, so it's really great that there's more and more opportunities for people to work on themselves and change.
That's a wonderful way to look at it. And that's true. We do have more resources and opportunities than before. I like that because sometimes we think, oh, I've got nowhere to turn, nowhere to go. Nope, the resources are all around us. You just have to be open to looking for them.
That's so true. You know, I even try to mention some of the resources that I know that helped me in my process.
Is there anything you can share about yourself that might surprise people? I have to admit, I was very surprised when I found out your background was in finance. Is there anything else that might surprise people?
Yes. I was in a terribly abusive family when I was young, and I was killed at 6 years old. That what drives me. I came back to share what I learned about the transformation of where I was dead to what I believe is everyone's birthright, to have full spectrum abundance in this lifetime. I know I made it out of that hole of negative emotions and negative thoughts and negative circumstances. And I had the full experience of that, what it was like to fight, fight, fight all the time until I've had enough. And I didn't want any more fighting. I just wanted everything to be easy, you know.
This explains a lot about how caring you are. Oh my gosh. Now, was anybody prosecuted at the time that this happened in your life?
No, I was in a terribly abusive family. So it was kind of like the norm.
How did you come back?
Well, at 6 years old, I did go on the other side. I didn't want to come back, actually. It took a lot for me to come back because there was still more abuse ahead. I was only 6. And I didn't want to come back. That's it, period. I'm not coming back. And I remember arguing on the other side. No, I'm not going. I'm not going.
What gave you the will to fight for life, to come back?
Well, they did say something to me. And but you don't remember that part. But I remember that it was enough for me to come back. So I'm assuming that it's this work that I'm doing now, you know, that I get from all the experience of going through that and all the abuse, blah, 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 and repeating all those negative circumstances over and over again until I can clear them up. That's what I'm here for. People who have any traumas, or so 0 to 7 or 0 to 9, some people say, we all have something that we're working on. It's something for us to transform, evolve from, raise our vibrations. And we all need somebody to help us along that path.
Did you have someone on your side, or were you all alone in your efforts?
No, it's the grace of God, you know. From 6 years old to 30, no, I didn't have anybody. And I've gotten a lot of situations that were the happiest. But at 30, I was literally in bed because all the emotions were stuck in my back and I wasn't able to express my emotions. And I didn't want to. Who wants to go back there, right? So I went to physical therapy and I just happened to meet somebody, a psychologist that was very open, and another person that was working in the energy. So anyways, I started there, but I still didn't want to look at anything. You know, it's very hard. But what if I could tell your listeners what's really fun about this and what's really easy is you don't re-traumatize yourself anymore. You don't have to feel any of the pain. You just have to acknowledge the emotions. And an emotion is acknowledged from, I don't know, a few seconds to like 3 minutes. So there are many ways to do that. And we have so many healing opportunities now in this world. So many healers. So there's many ways to go. So as I start to work on myself, by the grace of God, find more and more people that were aligned with where I was and was able to help me. And thank God I'm here. I'm alive. Yoo-hoo.
My goodness.
So I'm here.
Wow.
That's the good news, though, you know, that let me put this. If I could do it, anybody could do it. I've been there. I was in poverty. I was abused, blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to look at it. I was forced to look at it. So it's hallelujah. I could help people. I know where they've been. So that's a gift.
You're a gift, my friend. That's all there is to it. My gosh. Most people would not look at that as being a gift. You're just incredible. Oh my goodness.
But after they go through it, they'll find out that what they thought was a tragedy or whatever beforehand will be turned into their gift.
You're so inspiring. Whew. I'm curious to know, what are your 3 favorite stories and why?
Okay, so I actually love comedies. Great female comedians and stand-up comics.
Do you
Like,
have any specific movies or TV shows or anything?
well, to tell you the truth, I like true life stories like about Tesla and Einstein and documentaries. And I just want to keep learning more, to learn more about this beautiful planet and these great people in the world. I like the TV show Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent,
Oh,
because of all the incredible stories and the
yeah.
beautiful voices, you know.
So, with all that you've been doing, what are you looking forward to next?
I'm looking forward to letting more and more people know about manifestation, how it's possible, how they can change their life circumstances, how they can have full spectrum abundance in the areas of finance, relationships, health, and time freedom in this lifetime. No regrets on the deathbed. Please. At this time, if I could just ask your listeners, one of those areas they find lack in, or they're not full spectrum abundance, to name it to themselves what area that is. It will help them to know what they need to focus on next, I believe.
To put you on the spot here, do you have any programs coming up that they could actually take that will help them do this?
Well, actually, I do. Thank you for asking.
Oh, perfect timing. That's great. What have you got?
I am relaunching my program, Ask and I Shall Receive, a spiritual guide to manifestation, February 24th. And I'm eager to have more people experience the possibilities of achieving their goals and dreams that are, of course, in alignment with their highest selves. But I love to teach this step-by-step transformational process. And in the program, they will find out they will align their universal energy and unlock opportunities in any area of their life. And they'll be able to harness that universal energy that supports manifestation and attract all the opportunities that they've always dreamed about. They'll also have a stronger intuition. As I mentioned, they'll be able to go within their very selves and come up with handwritten answers that will help them navigate their life with confidence and purpose. And their resilience will be improved because once they know how to do this, they will always be able to go back and ask inside and stay focused on their journey to manifesting their desires. So that's coming up on the 24th.
I wanted to mention that in each of our podcast segments, we like to assign our listeners what we call a tiny task. What sort of tiny task would you like to assign them today that will reap big rewards?
Okay, I have two. So one is a teeny tiny task, and one is a little bit more challenging. So the more challenging one is get rid of your television and don't listen to any fearsome news again. Stop the fear from the news. You know, 100 years ago, we got along just fine, not knowing what's happening on the other side of the world every minute of the day. I've got rid of my television a long time ago. But if I need to know something, somebody will tell me, or I'll find out somehow. You know, most media outlets know that negative news is addictive, and we will watch more and more and buy from their sponsors. It's addictive because it activates the sympathetic nervous system of fight, flight, and freeze of our old reptilian brain. And we produce stress hormones. What that means today is that instead of seeing a dinosaur and we have all the stress hormones and then the dinosaur leaves and whew, the fear subsides, no, nowadays we're continually producing stress hormones and preparing for an attack. And it causes inflammation, and more inflammation is not what we need in our body. So please just get rid of all that negative news and focus on the good news. Focus on the things that makes you feel good in life, because focusing on the good will help raise your vibrations, and negative thoughts are low vibration. And number two is I started this process a while ago when I heard of a French psychologist working with his patients he was always having success with his patients. And the other psychologists were wondering why he's always having success. And he eventually told them, well, all he tells his clients to do is say this one phrase every day. Every way and every day, I'm getting better and better. And I personally started with that.
That just is so helpful, and it takes all the pressure off, but gives you hope.
But it actually works because I've done it. I mean, aside from all the other psychologists that were seeing this psychologist with such impressive success with his clients, that I actually did it. So at first it started with every day and every way, I'm getting better and better because I had a health issue at the time. And then it changed every day and every way. I'm getting wealthier and wealthier. You just start with that and you're changing your negative thoughts right there. When somebody asked me how I was doing and I wasn't doing so good, I would say that every day and every way, I'm getting better and better. And it just changed my thoughts. That might be helpful.
Both of them are very helpful. Is there any advice you would give to someone who doesn't know how to get started when it comes to manifesting and turning their heart's desires into reality?
Yes. First of all, you have to look at what you're thinking. If you're thinking a negative thought, change the thought. But that's always easier said than done. And I'll show you ways how to do that in the program. But for now, I have a gift for your audience.
Ooh,
It's called 5 Common Manifestation Myths That Stop People from Getting What They Want and Heartfelt Ways to Move Forward. So this is not fluffy. This is a real gift. If you look at it, you'll be able to start your manifestation process.
that's so generous of you. I really appreciate that. Are there any last thoughts you want to share with folks?
Yep. People don't start to work on themselves, like I mentioned, and often until they get hit by 2 by 4 from the universe.
Right.
I had a really hard head. It took me almost 30 years to heal, to learn how to do all this, to experience all the possibilities of attaining my own dreams and aligning with my higher selves. And I don't want people to suffer anymore. I don't want people that are on a deathbed saying, I wanted to do this and I didn't do it. That's why I made this program. You don't need to suffer for 30 years or even 5 years, to figure all this out for yourself. You will see your transformation. You will know how to manifest whatever you desire. You will know that your goal is aligned with the universe and the universe will support you. The benevolent universe is so helpful. They're just waiting for you to open up your arms and let it in. But when we have negative thoughts or negative emotions and negative circumstances that keep repeating, it's hard to open ourselves to receive all that's out there for us. And it's all for us, for our own good.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Dora.
Thank you.
Would you be willing to come back on in a few months and let us know what you're up to and what people can look forward to next with you?
Wow, that's such a generous offer. I would love to, love to, love to.
Yay! Well, we would love to have you back, and I'm going to be harassing you once we get off the call to get all of the links so we can post the wonderful stuff you've been talking about. This is the ultimate act of self-care, what you're offering people. And now is the time for us to get ourselves together so that we can be of service to others.
Yeah, I really think so. It's time now. Anybody that's out there that can do it, we have to do this now because so many people are in need.
And as you said, every day and every way, we're doing better. Thank everyone for being here today. I know that if you listened to the entire interview, you've already been blessed by the love and the optimism and just the good juju Dora shares. Wishing you all a wonderful rest of the day. That's better in every way. Chediste som tuta.